After years of traveling the realms of Aeon, you find it abandoned. Him vanished without trace. And you, the heir to the wizard's many secrets. Your purpose rekindled, and new tools at your disposal. You work tirelessly to rebuild the once great tower, breathing new life into its empty halls. And from humble beginnings, through hard work and dedication, you unlock the secret through which true greatness may be achieved. Vanquish your enemies, conquer their places of power, reap the ultimate prize. The whole world is at stake.
Coming soon, a terrible new foe will face the ultimate warriors. Will our heroes survive the Lizard Man War Chief, or succumb to the forces of Daedalus? Don't miss these updates coming soon to MythForce. In your face. Only on the Epic Store.
Escalated throughout the world.
Infantry taking the field. Short range on target.
And a group of experienced mercenaries called Blacklist.
Going stealth. Storming target. Eyes on. Going red. Closing on hostile. Taking hostile tank fire.
Global Risk is an international military giant. Got eyes on hostile. Focus fire on target.
Prepare for incoming firing. Be advised, we have eyes on unknown contact. What the hell is that thing?
In the midst of all the chaos, a new institution has emerged called New Horizon.
Providing designated coordinates.
Initiating strike. Engaged by hostile troops.
Initiating Nova drop.
We are reporting a massive army approaching the city.
Contact. Not like anything I've seen before. Ready, Commander.
Wake up, sleeper.
Wake up, sleeper. You have no idea what's coming.
Well, hello there, gamers. Welcome back to the PC Gaming Show 2022 pre-show. And I know what you're thinking, why hasn't the main event started yet? It's because we're still packing all the awesomeness in. So you can think of this as like DLC, except you don't have to make some sort of Sophie's choice about how to free up hard drive space. Speaking of which, we have a special treat for you while we wait for the full PC Gaming Show to begin. The exclusive premiere of a new documentary series created by PC Gamer called Tales from the Hard Drive. Stories are at the heart of PC gaming, and that's exactly what the series is focused on. The unbelievable, inspiring, and sometimes unsettling stories of PC gamers who became legends in their own right. Those tales of deceit or victory PC gamers wrote themselves in games like World of Warcraft, EVE Online, DayZ. These represent the spiritual center of PC gaming. And over the course of this documentary series, PC Gamer will lionize ordinary gamers who did exceptional things. Here's the first full episode of Tales from the Hard Drive. You can watch the rest of the series on PCGamer.com or on YouTube.com/PCGamer, debuting soon.
The boat to Menethil Harbor was a one-way ticket to death.
If you went to Menethil Harbor, you were corpse walking.
Being able to see their reaction to me killing them was the goal. I wanted that notoriety. I wanted to be feared.
For millions of players, the virtual world of Azeroth is an escape. A massively multiplayer role-playing game where you fight demons and dragons with your friends. But for 4 months in 2005, World of Warcraft's bustling Deathicus server wasn't a friendly reprieve from the outside world. It was a hunting ground. the terror of Menethil Harbor.
Folks lately call me Witchfinger. Back then, I was Harley Davis, the erotic fiction troll king of World of Warcraft, and I was basically in the troll mafia that ran Deathicus, and I was in a guild with Doc Master Angway in the early part of Vanilla WoW. In original Vanilla WoW, there was not a lot of instancing. There was basically 2 continents. And in order to rotate between one continent and the next continent, Kalimdor and Eastern Kingdoms, you had to physically walk onto a dock where you would catch either a zeppelin or a boat. What Angway was famous for was he parked his character, which was a level 60 orc rogue, in Menethil Harbor, which is a level 30 Alliance leveling zone, and he killed everyone that tried to get on the boat to another continent.
I'm angry, and I killed over 10,000 players in World of Warcraft. I ganked people in Menethil Harbor for about 4 months. I did it constantly, and I was a orc rogue. It was very easy to get away from people. They had some of the hardest hitting melee attacks in the game. It was a griefer's dream. If you want to kill people in a video game, you don't want to be seen, you want to be able to get away, and you want to be able to deal a lot of damage really fast. The reason I was killing a lot of people in Menethil was because I was trying to recreate something that I'd seen in EverQuest. You saw them coming and you were scared. I mean, you did not want to die to these people. I wanted that notoriety. I wanted to be feared. People had to come to me, and they didn't really have very many options of where they could go. I mean, it was literally a small dock that they had to walk across and get onto a boat that's a confined space. Menethil was just like the right combination of lack of guards and tricky spots that I could get away from people if I absolutely had to. You kill people, maybe 10 a day, and that was a good day. And maybe one of them would get really upset, and that was a better gank.
Ganking, the act of killing other players, especially when they're below your level or not wanting to fight, is a controversial tradition in World of Warcraft. But Angwy's dedication to it bordered on obsessiveness, and it quickly turned him into a living nightmare on his server.
I just killed people on the docks.
I absolutely hate you, Angwy. You are a nerd and have absolutely no life. Hell, you probably live in your mum's basement.
Angwy made people's lives hell. His ability to shut down Menethil Harbor for 4 months turned him into one of World of Warcraft's biggest anti-heroes.
Back in vanilla World of Warcraft, back in the good old days, I was Squig, a human rogue, on the Deathicus server. Early on when I was leveling before I became part of the Deathicus culture, he was certainly a nuisance. The boat to Menethil Harbor was a one-way ticket to death. He knew everything. Since he was a rogue, he had stealth, he knew where you could hide, he knew where you could run, he knew how he could get off the boat, he knew where you were going to respawn, he knew where he was going to respawn. That was probably the first time I ran into him, because he definitely camped that boat.
But just because you got to the boat didn't mean you were safe.
The boat had a couple of different spots where you could go on the insides of it and you could go up on top of it and whatnot.
One of my favorite things that I could do if somebody that was trying to be sneaky to get on the boat, and I could just stealth onto the boat. We're out in the water. They think they're safe. They're hiding in a corner, and then I just kill them all real quick. And I could take down like 4 or 5 low-level people before I needed to jump off the boat.
And so what you would have to do is you would have to go to the graveyard and you would have to graveyard respawn. This would cost durability, and this would also make your run back to Menethil Harbor a bit longer.
Then if they stayed on the boat when it zoned, they would end up at their graveyard with 1 health. And then I'm already there. And I could sit there and kill them as many times as I wanted at that point. I think it was really frustrating for him because, I mean, they told me, but it was a lot of fun. Like it was genuine glee a lot of the time.
The guy was legitimately a masterclass multiple opponent rogue.
He had stealth, he had stuns, he had blinds, he had everything in his toolbox, and he knew how to use every single one of them to make sure he accomplished his goal.
What made Angui exceptional was his dedication to his craft. He turned it into a science, one that sent many players over the edge.
When you play a character up to like level 60, it's a pretty big time investment that you're putting into this. And then to have your character just get completely massacred repeatedly, I think it can be hard to keep your cool, I guess. And I find it fun.
Personally, he probably only killed me probably 3 or 4 times, so I tried to avoid it as best I could. After a while, once I realized that Angui was peak Deathicus, hey, this is kind of fun. I totally get what this dude's doing.
Being a troll guild, of course we loved him. People would come on the forums and go, Angui, I got ganked by this level 60 rogue named Angui, and your pain is wine to us. It's like this delicious beer.
Ruthlessly killing players for 8 hours a day made him a terror, but that's not what made Angui famous.
So Angui and I met, we were both teenagers, and we ended up being guilded together. We were on a horribly boring raid, and we just started talking, and we hit it off very quickly. The things that we were doing in World of Warcraft, or that he was doing in World of Warcraft, never seemed like a big deal to me. Killing people in Menethol, like, it was a fun prank. I don't know, it seems fine, but people are really upset.
So we had this alt account named Angui Spy that was literally sitting on a tree stump in Menethil Harbor that was recording all the complaints, everything everybody said whenever he would kill them.
And I would kind of edge people on and tell them that they should complain about Angui, knowing that he was probably going to capture all of that and post it on his website.
That was even more fun because now he could actually get the hate mail. You were throwing gasoline on a fire.
I set up a website where I hosted screenshots of people that had ganked, mainly hate tells and nasty comments. I feel like the screenshots were trophies. It showed how good I was doing at my job, I guess.
Hey, Angui, go suck. Poor Angui, insecure little boy who has to take it out in a game. You really need a life. Stupid Angui.
The website was it just kept growing and growing and growing, and I was doing weekly updates with my wife Nicole.
You know, the website took a lot of time. It was a huge undertaking to launch this every week and get something live.
He was this absolutely normal dude living a normal life with this girlfriend, and his goals were beyond your understanding.
Angui had extraordinary talent for getting under people's skin.
Yeah, Angui hit us from both sides. He hit us in game, and then he would troll the forums and let everybody know that he was hitting us in game and that there was nothing we could do about it.
Well, I really hope you die a painful death, preferably in flames, and all of your family goes with you, and your line stops for good with you.
The website is what really elevated Angui above the everyday trolls in World of Warcraft. It was just so funny seeing how he could get such a rise out of people and all of the hate and vitriol that was directed towards them.
I sympathize with a lot of the victims. I was like, they're just having a bad day. Just like, let them go. You did your thing. People got kind of nasty though, and at that point my empathy kind of goes away.
I was killing random lobies, and I don't know what level this guy was, but he was very upset. And he was letting me know that he didn't like it. Eventually, I got a message from his kid saying, I'm sorry my dad is being such a jerk or something like that. Like, he seemed to get it. And I totally told the dad. And from my perspective, it's like, I'm playing a video game where part of the game is that you get to kill each other. Like, it's a PvP server. Like, you have an option where you don't get killed, and you're choosing to go on this one where you do get killed, and then getting upset because you're getting killed. And in hindsight, I feel bad about it. Like, I have kids now, but I never saw him again, and I don't think that kid, I'm sure that was not a fun time for him.
I think one of the big things that is really interesting about him in his entire story is that there's a duality of two different people. In the game, he has one personality. In real life, he's another, and he can separate them. Those traits that you play in game don't always come out in IRL. Honestly, it's socially acceptable in my eyes for him to be able to do this. Yes, it's going to piss off some people, and he's probably over there just laughing, being like, yeah, that sucks for you, man. I'm going to keep doing it, though, because to me, it brings me joy.
At some point, somebody found out that they could get my name, or what they thought was my name, and my address and my phone number from DNS on the website. I mean, it's a little creepy.
I remember it being like, oh wow, like this is getting serious. Like, are they actually gonna do something about this, or are they just trying to intimidate us? And so, you know, it seemed like the less attention we gave it, the faster it went away.
As Angwy's reign of terror continued each and every day for those 4 months, he only became more notorious, while other players would often challenge him, and even sometimes win. No one could permanently stop his killing spree.
At some point, I got a message from just a random person in the guild. He's like, hey, somebody wrote a guide on how to get around you, and I wanted the guide really bad. So I leveled up a character and then got into their guild, got forum access, and then got the guide. And it was a full-on guide on how to stop me from killing them, and it's like the most flattering thing. Somebody took the time to, to think up all these different tactics on how to get around me. Once I got them, I pretty much just tried to make it as invalid as possible. And that was probably my most prized possession, other than my daughters now.
That guide is really indicative of Angwy's influence on Deathicus. He was more than just another player. He became this raid boss that required the coordination of entire guilds in order to take down. No one else has really ever done that before or since.
But at the height of his infamy, Angwy had a revelation.
I wasn't doing well in community college. All my friends that I used to play with, they were all going to school, or they were having families. I didn't really know what to do with my life, I guess. I didn't want to play video games all my whole life.
You really need a life.
When it was over, it was almost like a relief of like, I don't have to live up to those expectations anymore.
So it kind of got down to where, like, do I want to do this thing I don't enjoy, or do I want to go try to, go to school? I went to college. I got a degree in game art and design. I became a computer programmer. I worked at a few game companies, and then I started a family, and now I take care of kids full time. So I kind of get griefed by them now.
Long after Angwy quit World of Warcraft, his legacy spread and lived on. Cracked.com awarded him the #1 move in an online game, while in YouTube videos and forums and Reddit threads, players retold Angwy's story again and again.
Angwy's story really harkens back to a time when World of Warcraft was just much more social. And I think players really crave that kind of freedom to write their own legacy, and that's why Angwy's story has endured.
I don't know. I don't think that game exists anymore. The gaming culture has changed so much that I don't know that you'd even be able to recreate the same thing again.
The best part about World of Warcraft to me was always the people. The community changed.
I beat the game. I made friends. That's really what MMOs should be. That's what they are about. And if your MMO's not about that, then your MMO sucks. That's really all there is to it.
I think that's where a lot of the really good player stories come from, is that player interaction, and it's something that's mostly gone from games currently, and I think World of Warcraft was kind of the start of that. After I quit, I missed it a lot. Like, I was like, this was a lot of fun. I could see doing it again. I'm kind of looking forward to you know, killing people.
People start freaking out. Worry turned into panic.
You went to Menethil Harbor, you were corpse walking.
What is going on? This is supposed to just be a video game.
I wanted that notoriety. I wanted to be feared.
I don't know how you would go about even finding someone who is essentially a myth.
We finally tracked down one member of this mysterious group.
There he is. He lives and breathes. He was this absolutely normal dude, living a normal life, and his goals were beyond your understanding.
Hang in there, big guy. If it wasn't for him, I would have died. Out in the black, you never can truly trust the people you fly beside.
Are you 40,000 light years from home? Don't panic.
The Sims was the ultimate icebreaker.
I don't mind dying if it means saving people's lives. And if I can do it being just a dramatic bitch, I'm gonna do it.
I still got 4 magazines. Do we want to go back?
Good things come to those who wait, and your patience has finally paid off. Get ready, because the 2022 PC Gaming Show kicks off in just a few moments, and we got dozens of new games, trailers, exclusive interviews, which means there's only one thing left to do. It's countdown time, and I'll see you in a sec. Hey everyone, welcome to the PC Gaming Show 2022. I'm Day 9 still, one of your hosts, joined again by the amazing Mika Burton.
Hi.
While we may look like elaborate Unreal Engine renders, we are here in the flesh, as is the hardware, bringing you the best and brightest in the world of PC gaming.
Over the next 2 hours, we are going to showcase a metric ton of killer upcoming PC games through world premieres, exclusive interviews, and a few surprises along the way. And you, the folks at home, might even be able to win yourself a fancy computer if you play your cards right.
And now you may remember the last time you saw me on this show, things ended quite literally explosively.
Yeah.
There was a robot who tried to destroy the human race, electrocuted me. I think I died.
Definitely died.
Either way, I'm not really sure. It was standard robot apocalyptic stuff. just minus the overbearing anime dad and existential crises.
Yeah, well, actually, what happened to DevBot anyway? Wasn't he supposed to come back for this show for,
Yeah.
like, Revenge of the DevBot? Ah.
Well, he's dead.
Oh.
We melted him down to try to make our own graphics cards since they're still hard to find, and I would say he's in a better place, but I played Cyberpunk 2077 and he's not.
Ooh, that's pretty dark for the start of the show.
Or nostalgic.
Aw.
But none of that matters because the show actually took place in a parallel reality.
All right, so you're telling me there's actually a multiverse?
According to the writers who told me this 5 minutes before we went live, I am saying there's a multiverse.
All right.
We're now apparently on Earth 3, which is not to be confused with E3 because this show is still happening.
Oh, and we are so thrilled to be back as a part of this weekend full of celebrations of gaming by putting the spotlight on something near and dear to our hearts. PC gaming.
And so, without any further ado, it's time for my favorite part.
Rated M for mature.
I won't leave you. You're not a monster. In the beginning, the world was subjugated by chaos. Endless droves of horrors trespassed into the world. And so came the solstice of souls. Something's coming.
Between death and transcendence, a chimera chooses death.
Show us what you've got!
We have a whole new world to forge.
May the judge have mercy on your souls.
You're here with me. I always will be. As long as we are together, we're not going down. They wanted yet another monster. They shall have one. No! You must resist it!
You just saw Tactical Breach Wizards, a turn-based game of sorcery and SWAT team strategy from the makers of Gunpoint and Heat Signature. My strategy, personally, is very simple. Breach, bang, clear, magic missile, dramatic flourish, abra, cadaver. Get it? Cadaver, dead body. Anyway. Next, we have a solution to the age-old problem of not having time to read and play video games. Just do both at the same time, obviously. Star Wars Industries has you covered with their sci-fi thriller inspired by Stanislaw Lem's novel, The Invincible. So here's your first look at the first ever gameplay footage.
You, what have you done?
Where are you taking me?
You came here yourself, so what are you expecting, huh?
You've set up a field camp down there.
Yes, ma'am.
So I didn't expect you to have a second one here.
Really? Sit here and don't you dare move. What are you doing here?
You're not gonna like this part. The radiation level is growing rapidly. It's starting to get interesting.
I'll pretend I didn't hear that, Doctor.
I located the mobile antimatter cannon.
Another one? How many of those did they... Is it active?
Dead.
I admire your composure.
Wait, someone's here. Astrogator, they're dead.
So you found someone. Unfortunately, such unpleasant discoveries are indispensable to the mission.
I didn't let that thought get to me. I was counting on this meeting very much. At worst, it could have been another abandoned place, but not this.
But what exactly?
That's a good question. I'm getting into the recorder. What do we have here? Uh-huh. They made their way through with a beam of antimatter.
How subtle. Did you locate this passage?
I'm looking at it now. They pierced a hole several meters in diameter and several dozen meters long.
Yasna, do you hear me?
Yes. My head feels like it's bursting from pressure.
Can you continue?
Yes. I'm better now. Actually, there's nothing here that I haven't seen before. There are a lot of metal bushes that were near our camp. The lower parts of the bushes are, how to put it, fruitless.
So they came to pick the fruits.
This robot looks like it has started its task and got stuck.
What task?
This is one of the robots carrying containers with research material. It took the container, but never left that place.
Why do you think it's stuck?
Well, it goes in circles using the same path. The robot's gone.
You must have broken his loop.
But I didn't.
Well, he must have done something. Never mind. Follow it.
Fuck! It's getting up!
What, a robot?
No! Antimat!
Come on, Yasna. Run! Hide! Yasna, are you alive?
Yes, it's fucked up the robot.
What's it doing now?
Oh no. Take care of our people, Novik.
It's time to take a pit stop at the nearest dungeon to prove that chivalry isn't dead. And if you think I emphasize those words weirdly, you're right. And it'll all make sense momentarily when you see these next 4 games, especially when you hear from our friends at Tripwire Interactive. Roll that beautiful footage.
You? Nah. You don't have what it takes. You'll be back here too scared to try again. 'Cause the dungeon will turn you into lunch meat. Unless you're way tougher than you look. We got the guns, the turrets, the upgrades. But what you really need is guts and skills. Grab your posse and say your prayers. Be the first to play. To die. To give your feedback. Do you have what it takes?
Welcome to F1 Manager 2022, the ultimate F1 simulation, putting you in the position of team principal at one of the 10 current F1 teams, battling it out for a chance to be the next world champion. Choose your team and drive every decision that leads to you making your mark on the grid, and hopefully the podium. Winning championships depends on your ability to make the right calls on and off the track. During races, you'll mastermind strategy, plan tyre stints for each driver, and make changes on the fly when necessary. Issue driver callouts, such as instructing them to attack or defend, manage their tyre wear and battery usage, or even to avoid battling a teammate, all while reacting to dynamic events like race incidents and fluctuating weather and track conditions. Between race weekends, you'll control every detail of your team from your state-of-the-art headquarters. Hire best-in-class staff to work across your aerodynamics and engineering teams and put them to the task to develop your car and prepare new parts for upcoming races. Optimize your finances to keep the board happy, improve and maintain your facilities, and scout talent from F2 and F3 to try and ensure future success. They say knowledge is power, and keeping a close eye on a plethora of realistic data will help give you the edge. From the finer details of how car parts affect overall performance, to a track's expected grip level, to the condition of your wind tunnel. How you analyze the data and choose to spend your resources will make or break your progress. You'll find depth and detail in abundance, even down to real-world team radio messages between drivers and engineers, and race commentary from David Croft and Karun Chandok. While broadcast-style presentation showcases 2022's striking new car design with real trackside and onboard camera angles. The sleek management menus and intuitive controls will drive the immersive F1 fantasy home as you plan and execute the perfect strategy in F1 Manager 2022. Pre-order the digital version now for early access from August 25th.
Hey everyone, after 1 year of Chivalry 2, we've more than doubled the size of the game, and now we're excited to bring even more knights onto the battlefield. Because today, right now, Chivalry 2 is out on Steam with crossplay between all platforms. This is our biggest update to the game yet, and it brings players to an all-new desert theater of war, and best of all, brings us horses into Chivalry 2 in mounted combat. We want to thank our community for making the game the success that it's been so far, and if you haven't played it yet, now is the best time to check out Chivalry 2. Take a look at our new trailer that shows off the new update and its Nosian invasion.
This rebellion is at an end. The Agapians flee to their stronghold in the north. This land is mine! Now Denosia rises from the south. Kill them all! Throw the dogs back into the desert. Their forces will crash and break against the bulwark. If the wall falls, we must retaliate. Ready the ships! Long has Senosia remained safe from my fury. No more. They dare to strike out at us. Their cities will fall. Their people will bleed. Their knowledge will burn. My reign will never end.
Hi everyone, I'm Phil from Sweet Bandits, live from Quebec City. Really glad to be here today for the PC Gaming Show. We'll be showing the first trailer for our game, Deceive Inc. It's a multiplayer competitive spy game where you get to use social stealth, high-tech gadgets, and powerful spy abilities to try and get the upper hand. We've had the chance of working with Tripwire Presents on the project, so this is only the beginning. Please follow us on social media at Play Deceiving to learn more. We'll be releasing the game in early 2023 on PC, Xbox Series S and X, and PS5. Thank you so much, and let's enjoy the trailer.
Good afternoon, agents. Your mission is simple. Infiltrate the frozen coral underwater hotel and retrieve the blueprint of a powerful weapon. As you know, Deceive Inc.'s company policy is to deploy multiple agents to ensure the mission's success. But only one will get the paycheck. Do whatever it takes, agent, and be careful out there.
Try your best. Let's see if it's enough. Booyah! Ka-ching! Oh, come on. They can't be this fast.
And they thought it was secure. In the end, I am victorious.
They're really not gonna make it easy for me. Gotcha.
Is that it?
Right on target. Outskilled and outgunned.
It can't end like this.
Target acquired. Moving to rendezvous point. All done. Really? Mission complete!
Let me ask you something. Do you ever have a reoccurring dream that you really wish would come true, I mean, mine personally involves a flight of unicorns and a Valkyrie army on Pegasuses, but yours may be different. But, somehow I doubt it. This year, we've partnered with the PC builders at iBuyPower to bring a very different dream to life. My dream PC room. Unfortunately, there's bad news for me. I don't get to keep it. But very good news for one of you. We're going to be giving the entire contents of this room away to a lucky winner watching the show. So let's dive in and see what's up for grabs. The beating heart of any PC gaming dream room is, of course, the rig, so let's start there. As you can see, the mad geniuses at iBuyPower have built an absolute doozy. The first thing you'll notice is that Height Y60 case with its wraparound tempered glass panels. This thing is built from the ground up to display the sickest PC tech you can squeeze into a desktop machine. And let's face it, if you've managed to bag a serious graphics card in these dry times, you owe it to the silicon gods to show it off properly. Okay, the case and lighting looks dope, but for this to be a true dream PC, we need more than just state-of-the-art drip. Luckily, the substance matches the style. So let's check out the guts of our dream PC, and trust me, there's plenty of power crammed in. The big question, though, is what pixel pusher iBuyPower has used, and you won't be disappointed with an overclocked RTX 3090 from Gigabyte, right? This 24GB monster of a GPU packs the cooling to stay chill and the power to smash through any game you throw at it. The graphics card is the rig's MVP, but any superstar needs some dope backup, and the fastest gaming CPU around, the Intel 5.5GHz Core i9 12900KS with 32GB of DDR5 RAM and 2TB of seriously fast SSD storage, both from ADATA, makes up the perfect support team. Whew, that is a whole lot of PC. But Mika, you may greedily wonder, what about the peripherals? Well, animal lovers, we got you covered, because the Height Eclipse wireless headset comes in plush vegan leather trim with a 30-hour battery life and competition-grade 2.4GHz connection. And you noisy typers are going to love the clicky-clacky mechanical keyboard that comes with it. Oh, I'm sorry, what was that? RGB? Well, of course! The keyboard and mouse both light up like Atlantic City on a Saturday night. And yeah, you can turn it off so you can actually get some sleep. You can find out more about this gear feature today over at iBuyPower.com, but I know what you really want to know. The info on how to win this beastly setup. So here are the details.
Thanks, Mika. Yes, folks, it couldn't be easier to enter our Dream PC giveaway. For your chance, just head over to pcgamer.com/dreampc and follow the simple instructions. There, you'll find a complete breakdown of the prize, which, don't worry, also comes with some very swish monitors as well as the eligibility rules. Good luck, gamers.
That is right, just head over to pcgamer.com/dreampc for your chance to win. But for now, let's get back to the games. From Kepler Interactive and A44 Games comes Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn, an action RPG from the team behind Ashen, where gods and guns collide.
When the gods first emerged from the great below, we saw them as saviors. Instead, they unleashed a pestilence on our world. No one yet knows if you can kill a god. I, for one, intend to find out.
Hey PC Gaming Show, I'm Derek Bradley, the CEO of A44 Games and creative director of Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn. Flintlock is set in a world ruled by old gods, and so as humanity, you now have the power of black powder and bombs and flintlock rifles to finally overthrow the gods and take the world back. You'll play as Nor, a Blackstream sapper, one of the elite explosives experts of the Coalition forces. Nor herself has a personal vendetta against the gods and will stop at nothing to get her revenge. But you won't be going it alone. Where Nor brings firepower, her fox-like companion Enki brings magic to the battlefield. You will have to master a combination of axe combat and gunplay, while your companion Enki uses his magical powers to disrupt enemies. We can't wait to show you more of Flintlock before it's released next year. Head over to our socials for more info, and don't forget to wishlist now on Steam and Epic Game Store. Have a great show.
Coming up next, a mysterious new sci-fi game from 11-Bit Studios, the creators of This War of Mine. Hear all about it in our exclusive interview. We'll also show you what's next for Outriders from Square Enix and People Can Fly. Plus, if you look back on high school and think, you know, those 4 years would have been better if I was fighting literal demons, you're definitely going to want to study up on our next world-exclusive independent game inspired by the Persona series. Chug your health potions now because there is so much more PC Gaming Show coming your way. Before we go, the folks at Compass Data Centers have a little quiz for you. How much higher is 5G's data capacity compared to current 4G networks? Scan this QR code and answer the question for a chance to win $500 worth of stuff from Razer, or visit gaming.compassdatacenters.com. Okay, now back to the PC Gaming Show.
Ready to game the system? Meet Mana. You slay, you achieve, you win. So should your bank account, because your power shouldn't stop when the game does. Mana is the best gaming rewards debit card where you can earn perks and points by paying and playing, and get rewarded with the things you actually want, like that skin you can't wait to show off, or your next gear upgrade. So why pay any other way? Pay with Mana. Pay with power. Mana. Game the system.
So I know what you're thinking, and the answer is yes. It's time to talk about The Alters, the brand new game from 11-Bit Studios. The Warsaw-based studio made us cry in This War of Mine, make difficult choices in the face of climate apocalypse in Frostpunk, and battle encroaching corruption in Children of Morta. The Alters sends us to the deepest, darkest reaches of space, in a survival story that is guaranteed to give you an existential crisis, in a good way. This is a really big moment for this year's show. I can't wait. Let's take a look. Joining us now to talk about what we just saw all the way from Poland is Tomasz Kasilewicz of 11-Bit Studios. Welcome to the PC Gaming Show, and thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Hello.
Okay, there is a lot to unpack there. We got clones, we got this huge wheel. Tell us, what did we just see?
Well, first of all, these guys were not exactly the clones. We saw Jan, our main character, who's traveling with a group of the Alters, who are the alternative versions of the same person. And they are going through this distant alien planet in their mobile base, which was the wheel you saw at the end.
So what's the player's goal as they're progressing through the story?
So you are a space builder stranded on this distant planet, and your goal is to survive and find a way back home. But the thing is, in order to do so, you need to create those altars, as each one of them have different set of skills and character traits. So these are things necessary for your survival and finding a way back home.
So from the trailer, tonally this could be a horror, a thriller, a mystery. What should players expect?
Actually, there are bits of everything you mentioned. Like, there is this mystery as we're looking deep into the soul of the character, but what you find there can also be pretty scary. So there are those beats of psychological horror and drama, but then on top of it we have this quite thick layer of surreality. I mean, how surreal would it be to one day, you know, wake up next to a little different alternative version of your very self?
Now, there's a quote that you shared with me earlier, that man cannot remake himself without suffering, for he is both the marble and the sculptor. How does this quote relate to the story?
So this quote, it relates directly to the main theme of our game. We as people, we are shaping ourselves every single day with every single decision that we are making. This process, the whole process of becoming who we are, it can be quite painful at times. But in our game, Jan, the main character, he has this unique possibility of not only shaping himself, but also reshaping himself and numerous times with every single altar that he is creating.
Do you see this as more of a classic sci-fi story, something like a Ray Bradbury work, or is it something more contemporary?
Well, it is very classic sci-fi in a way that we are taking a relatable topic and we are using the sci-fi theme, we are using the sci-fi setting to look at it through the magnifying lenses. But then when we're choosing the tools, this is a very contemporary game and we're taking advantage of what video games are as a medium. So we're using tools like systematic design and nonlinearity in order to put the players in the middle of the experience and in the end allow them to create their own stories inside the game.
I wanted to ask a little bit about the relationship of your previous titles to the altars, whether there's any narrative or themes or even just influence that those games had on this one.
Well, the altars is purely 100% our game, 11-bit Studios game, and it's created in line with our meaningful entertainment philosophy. So it's a game we hope that it will make you think even after you stop playing it. This War of Mine was this first huge milestone. It paved the way for all the future titles. And with Frostpunk, it was taken to another level with the strong focus on the emergent narrative. And now with the altars, we want to follow that path, but we also really want to push the boundaries even further and expand on how we approach meaningful topics inside the design of our games.
Thanks so much again to Tomasz and the whole team at 11-bit Studios for joining us this year. And while I try to find enough Rapidium to make it through day 1 to 8, let's head on over to Mika Burton and keep things rolling like a massive space station.
Thanks, Day 9. Honestly, I need to look into getting myself cloned so I can make time to play all of these awesome games we've seen so far. But I'm also legitimately worried about having to eventually fight my clone in single hand-to-hand combat when they steal my life, making me wonder if I was the clone all along. Is it really worth it for video games? Yeah, no, it's totally worth it for video games. Anyway, that's a problem for future Mika. Present Mika is much more interested in what you all have been saying about the show so far. So keep letting us know your thoughts by using hashtag PC Gaming Show on all platforms. Now, let's get back to the real reason all here. Cloning. I mean video games. Video games.
Sure, when Tiny Build lets you open your own medieval potion shop, you get hailed as a master alchemist. But when I do it, I get a sternly worded letter from my landlord about how my cauldron violates our lease agreement. Whatever, it's his loss. But more importantly, folks, we promise you the maximum amount of games humanly possible, and we aim to deliver quite literally.
Before your eyes lies the Celestial Islands, a world of peace above the clouds, protected by 4 great houses.
Planet Earth, our beautiful home. To protect it, we must reach out to explore the unknown. Our team of experts is presently probing the deep sea in a struggle against the yoke of overregulation. These security and defense innovations allow you to shrink any problem down to size. We surge forward, obliterating the enemies of progress, but we refuse to let these victories go to our heads. We are the future. We are Ozine.
And now it's time to give you an exclusive briefing on what's next for one of PC gaming's titans of modding, simulation, and scale, Arma 4. Last month, developer Bohemia Interactive kicked things off by releasing Arma Reforger on Steam in early access. This playable prototype will be a foundation for Arma 4. And with it playable on Steam now, we have a ton of questions about the future of Arma. I mean, after all, this is the series that helped birth the survival genre through DayZ. Oh, and also this other little niche genre you may have heard of called Battle Royale. To help us peer into the future for this project, we've got none other than Bohemia Interactive. Thank you so much for joining us. So as of right now, Arma Reforger has been out for about a month. What is it that you've been learning or seeing from players?
At first, we've learned that players like Reforger a lot and they appreciate the work we've put into it. We also realized they like modding a lot and they review this as a key quality of our games. And we were very pleased by the reactions of both our community and the new players who immediately started flooding the internet with videos, playthroughs and praise of our new technology. So we are very glad that the reception was so good.
So there's no doubt players who have been longtime fans of the franchise stepping into Arma Reforger, and I'm curious, what were some of the big challenges of rebuilding that specific Arma feel from the ground up in this brand new engine?
Well, it's a very tricky subject because even internally it's an ongoing kind of fight. So I'm myself very much on the very purist side of things, so no HUD, no save games, no superficial helpers, and this fight can get very intense even in-house. So I'm the real Arma purist, and I'm on this for 25 years now, so I will keep fighting, but obviously this is part of the fun. So there's always never-ending battle. I think 2 years ago we really struggled to keep it Arma and even internally preserve our own standards, so do it our own way rather than replicating what's maybe normal in other games, because our goal is not to make the same game as all other games. So our goal is to remain unique.
I'm curious if you can speak to what the main goals of Reforger is, because it's a little unusual compared to other releases. I mean, for instance, how much content should a player expect if, say, they've been playing Arma 3 for years?
Our goals were, of course, to restart the series from a technological standpoint, really make room for some new achievements, utilize the technology which is state-of-the-art, both in terms of how it looks like, how it's controlled, how it can be modded.
It's important to understand it may look as a kind of normal game on the surface, but there's a big system behind it. So just the tool suite is a massive tool suite, never tested by a large public. So it's a premiere of a tool suite, and these tools are being built for nearly 5 years now. So we really need users to start using them to keep improving and continue building it.
Sorry to interrupt, but we have one quick question from the Arma fans. Has Russia's invasion of Ukraine impacted your approach to Arma 4 and Arma Reforger, a game that depicts the Cold War?
Well, yes, because it's extremely close to us. We even live in a way very nearby, so definitely. On the other hand, we started work on this many years ago, so the direction was set before. But we always approach conflicts and armed conflicts with a great level of respect. We're still at the beginning, but we definitely would like to continue in our exploring this serious theme.
Arma, as I see it, has always been a bit more of a anti-war game. It's an entertainment product. That's fair thing to admit. On the other hand, given the topic, given our, let's say, maturity and long time we've spent on it, and our ambition to portray it as a whole very complex and gritty thing, I would like us to contribute by not just entertaining people, but also educating them on the subject. This was the whole point of starting the cooperation with the International Committee of the Red Cross, and I believe we have great potential, big responsibility in this era, and a very important chance to contribute at least a little bit to the good side of things.
This would not be an interview about Arma unless we were asking about modding. I mean, so many amazing games and genres came from Arma mods, so I gotta know what's possible in Reforger that wasn't possible in the past.
Now with this technology, it's possible to create entirely different things, like entirely different games. It has so many variables, but the beauty now is that much more of it is user accessible, unlike the previous games. So people can easily digest how this is constructed in our Workbench tools. So unlike previously where it was more hard-coded in the C++ engine, so now they can check the data of every single element of the game and go much, much deeper than in previous games. So this will be super exciting.
Now, I wanted to ask a little bit about performance, because anyone who's played Arma knows that it can get really challenging to get a good frame rate in those massive multiplayer matches. So I'm curious, what expectations should players have about performance leading into Arma 4?
Arma 3 was built on foundations laid down in times of single core and no GPUs, basically. So this time much more computations and intensive rendering things can be done directly on GPU, but it required completely a new approach.
Again, we are in the beginning, and we know that there are problems, there are difficulties, but we are solving them one by one. We are really gathering community feedback and even our own definitely feedback, so we are moving things forward. And yeah, it's about optimization. It's not that much about FPS, but also for like network traffic, for instance. When you have this massive multiplayer game, it's a huge challenge. Server performance, of course, and all the technical things. So we are moving forward.
Thank you so much again, Bohemia Interactive, for giving us the inside scoop on both Arma Reforger and Arma 4. Now, you don't go anywhere, because here is what's around the corner.
Just around the corner in the PC Gaming Show, prepare to experience terror ranging from the subaqueous to the subconscious with the latest from Shiro Games. Hold on to your butts because front-end development spared no expense on the new Jurassic World Evolution 2 expansion, and get your crowbars ready for Half-Life Alyx Levitation, a special project from some very talented modders. Oh modders, what would PC gaming be without you? While we're here, quick geography question. Which parts of the world use the most bandwidth for gaming? Answer this question for the folks at Compass Data Centers and it could win you a $500 Razer gift card. Scan the QR code on the screen to enter.
Last year, Shiro Games debuted War Tales at the PC Gaming Show, but the publisher has a lot more than its medieval sandbox RPG on the way. Up next, we'll hear what's up with Shiro's slate of projects, and stick around for the debut of 2 completely new games, Decarnation and Abyssals.
Hey everyone, thank you very much for the invitation, Mika. I'm James, and I can't wait to show you everything that we've got prepared for you today. So it's been a crazy couple of months for everyone here at Shiro Games, with Dune Spice Wars marking the most successful release in the history of the company, and it's entirely thanks to all of you. But today, let's look at Dune Spice Wars multiplayer mode. Up to 4 players can go head-to-head and free-for-all, 2v2, all work together in co-op against AI opponents. We're introducing new synergy systems between factions that will open a vast number of strategies to help you crush your opponents. Multiplayer will be available in Dune Spice Wars very soon. After 5 years and nearly 3 million units sold, Northgard's story finally continues. In a new chapter set shortly after the events of the first campaign, Ragnarok has decimated the lands of Northgard. Long-standing alliances have been broken. Violence and betrayal now plague the continent. Forced to depart what they once called home, our heroes arrive on unknown shores and find themselves confronted by unfamiliar faces in a dangerous new realm.